A Royal Navy nuclear-armed submarine ran so low on food during a record 6-month patrol that sailors were ordered to hand in their sweets and snacks to be shared out among their comrades. Now, this was the Royal Navy's nuclear deterrent vessel. This is the boat the submarine which stays underwater. There is always one on patrol ready to fire its Trident II Doomsday nuclear missiles in the event of a nuclear attack against the United Kingdom. This was one of the boats that provides the continuous at-sea deterrent, and we understand that one of the reasons for this shortage was simply the length of time these submarines have been forced to spend at sea. Now, the Royal Navy boasts that these nuclear-powered vessels, both the Vanguard class and indeed the Astute class boats, because they have these nuclear reactors on board which produce electricity and power, they can generate their own oxygen, their own air for the sailors to breathe. They can generate their own drinking water. So in fact, the only thing that limits the length of the patrols, the length of time that they spend under the water, lurking under the water on patrol, is the amount of food they can carry. Now, exactly how much food they can carry and exactly how long they can stay at sea is a closely guarded secret. And we haven't named the vessel involved or indeed the patrol that was afflicted by this shortage of food for national security reasons. But nonetheless, it's an insight into the extraordinary conditions and sometimes hardships that these submariners who provide this layer of defence endure for the sake of Britain's national security. Now, we understand a number of other measures were also taken on board this patrol, including the food had been reduced to what's known as fleet portions for some time. That's where effectively they are on rations to try and extend, very limited rations to try and extend how long the supplies will last. A canteen on the submarine, which effectively but an honesty shop because it's not staffed, selling sweets and snacks, that was closed because of hoarding. And the sailors who were not on duty were ordered to sleep or rest to try and conserve energy, to reduce their calorific intake. And those that weren't resting were often scouring the submarine, every part of that submarine, for any cans of food or dried food that may have been left over, especially towards the final days of that patrol. One of the people we spoke to about this said that medics on board feared what they described as a loss of life. Now, that's not because the crew was starving, and indeed the Royal Navy has been very clear with us. They insist that the sailors were not starving, that the sailors did have enough nutrients and calories to survive. But the medics, we understand, raised fears over fatigue and exhaustion that these sailors, these submariners were enduring, and they feared that that could lead to a loss of life at sea. For example, were someone to fall asleep or fail to concentrate on a sort of mission critical duty that could endanger the lives both of themselves and indeed of their crewmates.